Hello, I'm Dan West with the Livonia Chamber of Commerce, and this is our latest cyber edition of CityScape, our regular series of video chats about people, places, and ideas that impact Livonia. Social limitations this spring has eliminated traditional church services. This has forced faith leaders to be creative and stay engaged with their congregations. To talk about this dynamic, we are pleased to be joined by Father Kevin Thomas, the pastor of St. Aidan Catholic Church in Livonia. He is also a chaplain for the Livonia Fire and Police Departments. Father Kevin, thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Father Kevin, what have you done to serve your parishioners over the past several weeks since you could not hold public masses?
When we were told that we couldn't hold public masses, we immediately began to put together a schedule for live streaming our Sunday masses and other occasions, particularly the services during Holy Week. That was live streamed to our Facebook account and then later embedded in our webpage so that people in the parish could participate with us on Sundays and on the holy days. We had a really good response. We got the word out through our webpage, and quite a number of people tuned in, and that's grown over the weeks. We recognized very early on that people were under a great deal of stress, and it was a difficult time, people being locked down, as it were, in their homes. And I decided that we needed to do an outreach, and this was right at the very beginning again, to our older parishioners. And so I rallied our parish council, the heads of our commissions, and anyone who wanted to volunteer to make phone calls to all of our senior parishioners. And that was very well received. We contacted all of them. If they weren't available, we left messages for them. And we've continued to do that over the weeks. We then made an outreach to the rest of the parishioners that we wanted to remain in contact with them, tell them that we're here and that we're praying for them. We've tried to be very proactive in this. One of the things that we did when I really was very happy that we were able to do this in spite of the limitations that we had, every Christmas and Easter we have charitable giving where we deliver food and gifts to people in need. We find people through nursing homes and through soup kitchens and that kind of thing when they're referred to us. Right at the very beginning of this lockdown with the pandemic, there was a question whether we were going to be able to do that for Easter. We had a lot of food gathered. But we went ahead with it, and we were able to help 90 families, delivering food for them, and they were very appreciative. We got a lot of nice notes from people. People were plainly surprised that that continued, but I really wanted that charitable giving not to come to an end because of this. People were in need, and they were still in need, and it was something that I was quite happy to see accomplished, that the work of our parish continues.
And Father Kevin, I've heard from a lot of people in the community that got those courtesy phone calls from your volunteers at the church, and that was a really pleasant surprise to a lot of people that received those phone calls, so they did make an impact. Father Kevin, what will Mass look like when you're able to resume normal Mass schedules?
There's a lot of discussion on that right now. We're waiting for guidelines from the Archdiocese. They really are the ones who are going to set the agenda for what we do. There's been talk of having Mass outside. I don't know what form that would take, whether people would be in their cars or allowed to come out and social distance. We have a nice area, our Marian Shrine, that can accommodate a lot of people. I've heard some horror stories too, that we're going to take out the music books and that the congregation won't be singing. that we will continue for a time with only the priest receiving communion. All these things are kind of up in the air, and that will be determined what we will do in the future. We have a big worship space, and people would be able to self-regulate, social distance within the church. We have a large overflow section that we don't always have open, but that we will have open. When we begin again with our daily masses, we'll move to the larger space as well. Our smaller chapel, which is nice and intimate, goes against the whole idea of that distancing. We usually get anywhere from 50 to 70 people for our daily services, and the chapel holds about 80. So people are a little close in there. We're paying attention to the guidelines from the state, and we want to do this right, just as I think everybody in positions of authority want to do that. And people just using common sense about this whole situation.
I imagine you've talked to a lot of people dealing with anxiety and loneliness. Father Kevin, what is your message to them?
Well, I really think that this is a time of opportunity. Having been a missionary overseas, I know that sometimes things can be very difficult. There is a word in Japanese, I believe, that it has a double meaning. It means crisis, and it also means opportunity. And I think that in the midst of this, there is an opportunity to go deeper in our faith, to look for real reasons to hope, and there are many, and to reach out to one another in love, which is basically the great gifts that God gives to us, that we're to put those into practice, that we are to express our faith and our hope and our love. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot that we're going to have to catch up on, but there's a lot we can do right now. And that's what I encourage people to do, to be creative, to look for places and ways to do just that.
So, Father Kevin, I thank you for sharing your time and guidance today. We appreciate everyone for watching this episode of CityScape. We'll see everybody next time.
Thank you.